Hello and welcome to Games Finds Videotape. I'm your host Chris Mitchell and this is my co-host David Turner, and that's it. That's just the both of us. How are you, David?
I'm good. As sexy as always.
Yes, very fine. And yeah, sadly the rest of the
Chris,
crew.
stop hitting on me.
God damn it! You stop being dirty, all right? It feels awkward for me too.
You just call me fine. I mean, I appreciate the compliments, but still.
Well, what? You said I was attractive earlier.
No, I didn't.
Yeah, you did. I have
Nope.
evidence.
I don't believe you.
This is being recorded right now.
Well, you took my voice and you edited together pieces of words of me calling myself attractive or somebody else attractive, and then put Chris attractive is attractive. That's what you did.
How does he know? Anyway, the reason why it's just the two of us people is a few people are either very busy or have things to do, I guess. And we've got a few announcements to make about that. So we've had a little reshuffle. As you know, David is now the new co-host, sort of. Robert,
Sort of.
Sort of.
Sort of.
Because you already were, technically.
Oh, okay.
So anyway, Robert's not doing the editing as much as he used to, and he's still doing the thingy quote unquote show. He'll still be editing that, and he'll be I think he's pretty much hosting that now, isn't he?
Yep.
He'll still be doing that. He's not here at the moment for some reason. Probably busy.
Jerking it.
Yep. And we've also decided to end our current event stuff and crazy news and put that on Robert Livingston's show. So hopefully that'll be a better fit. So we're just going to do the film and gaming news, and we're also going to do the top 10 of both the UK and the US. This is the first time this has happened. So hopefully you guys enjoyed the show. I'll be editing this, so it might come out quickly, or it may come out slightly later than usual.
Chris has to have sex with a lot of British singers like Lily Allen, Jessie J, and Rita Ora. So that's why he might be busy.
Didn't know I was a very famous groupie.
Yeah, see, he's the groupie. He's the biggest. I'll get up on my British. By the way, I need some British bands to listen to because
Hip-hop
American
or bands.
Just bands, because American bands besides Muse. I know you love Muse.
I love Muse.
But no. Yes.
Saying,
Yes.
I won't break no laws.
Yes, at all. I know whatever accent Chris is doing, I don't do it either.
Anyway, we must move on to the news, everyone. I'm going to carry on doing the film news first. I think I quite like this, actually. Oh, no, actually, no. We're doing the gaming news first, people. I'm very sorry.
Chris is all discombobulated because he had just had sex with Rita Ora, and from what I understand, Rita Ora is a hell kitten in the sack.
She cray.
Yes. Yeah. Oh God! Don't ever say. You said that so. You said that so white, and you're only half. Oh God.
Well, quarter.
Quarter. That quarter became a full.
I could do my British Asian accent, but I don't want to.
That's so offensive.
Hey, it's not offensive when I do it.
Oh yeah, because you have Asian in you.
Yeah.
That sounded bad.
Anyway, in gaming news, Assassin's Creed Unity makes a strong case for video game recalls, and this is from Forbes. Video games aren't recalled very often, in spite of the leagues of problems plaguing many of this year's biggest releases. Rockstar recalled Grand Theft Auto San Andreas in 2005 after a pair of highly sexual minigames were discovered in the game. The content had been locked away but was easily unlocked by the gaming community, and retailers have begun pulling the game from shelves in what is now dubbed the hot coffee controversy. I kind of vaguely remember that. Nintendo recalled Mario Party 8 due to the word spastic. Yeah, it is an offensive word here, but to be fair, it's in such common usage. I don't.
What is it?
It means retard.
Oh.
But it's like, it's offensive, but it's so commonly used. I don't see the point in them recalling stuff, and I think it could either have been.
Well, Mario is a family game.
It could possibly have been a translation error. I don't even remember that happening.
Spastic.
Yeah.
Spastic. I'm gonna call
It,
someone that, and
it
they're gonna be
can.
like, "What?"
It doesn't also mean retard. It can also be a descriptive term for like jittery and weird movements.
Yeah, that's what I usually associated the word for
Yeah.
here.
We do.
But I'm gonna call someone that. You're spastic.
We use both. Also, Nintendo apparently recalled Metroid Other M in Japan due to a bug that would freeze Samus in various regions of the game, requiring a new game to be started. Also, the original Final Fantasy XIV MMO was shut down and scrapped, and rebuilt from scratch, apparently, making a much better game, although apparently it was still crap for the old consoles. There are a handful of others, but the list remains depressingly short. If that was simply because video games were so polished at release that consumers never had anything to worry about, a short list would be fantastic. Sadly, this isn't the case. Quite the contrary. There will be bugs. We've seen numerous launch-related disasters in the video game industry over the past years. There was no recall of SimCity when that game debuted to an always online DRM nightmare. There was also no recall of Battlefield 4 in spite of its myriad issues. And now Assassin's Creed Unity is, for many gamers at least, so unplayable that publisher Ubisoft is recommending things such as disconnecting from the internet in order to play and turning off social features. Hey, your brakes aren't working? Just don't drive the car and you won't ever need to stop. Ubisoft's Unity blog is littered with posts about patches, fixes and workarounds. You won't see a similar blog for Super Smash Bros or Mario Kart 8. This just means one thing. Unity was obviously not ready for release. As Paul Tassi noted, both Halo the Master Chief Collection and Assassin's Creed Unity are suffering from the problems each faced in their hurry to release in time for the holidays. The Halo re-release was plagued with matchmaking issues in its multiplayer. So, single player though was perfectly fine for that, I guess.
Yeah.
Reviewers were gentler on Unity than the general public, but the response to its many glitches was still damning. Well, no wonder they're generally softer. Hey, you know. Crash. So, and here's a quote. It says, "Crash bugs, characters falling through the environment, faces not loading properly, resulting in some memorably horrific abominations." I just sent David a picture of the Master from Doctor Who in the 1970s.
While I was eating.
Yes. This is just among the many issues with Assassin's Creed, and unfortunately Ubisoft doesn't appear to be getting their asses in gear, because they generally don't give a crap about the consumer. And it sends us a link to Jim Sterling, but I don't like him. We're not going to talk about it.
Basically, I sent this article to discuss like game glitches and how we feel about them.
I guess this explains why there's been so many delays upon delays upon delays. Just they can't finish a game properly.
I mean, go ahead.
I'm surprised that when Rome Total War 2 came out, that wasn't recalled. Like, that was so buggy and glitchy and crashing on release. They literally would hype all the fans up, and then they release this shite on us. It crushes you, man. And I'm just surprised they didn't recall it. But to be fair to them, they did release loads of patches week after week, but it still took them ages to get it right. I just wonder, if you're under so much pressure, what's the point? What do you think, David?
Well, I mean, one thing this article left out when it was listing all of the buggy games and glitches, they left out Colonial Marines. How do you forget that?
That was a shit game in general, wasn't it?
Yeah, but like that game, that was an example of a game that a lot of people were like boycotting and wanting to get. And one guy I think tried to sue them to get his money back for a line. And in the UK, actually, you guys actually put a lawsuit to them about false advertising. I think
we did, yeah. I didn't follow it though. I do remember people doing that. But I thought that was more gamers in general.
I thought it was the government, because the government actually did find, like, there was your government did find something wrong with how there was false advertising.
I think they did, yeah, but I don't think there was anything they could do.
I think they did something. I don't know what they did. I think Sega, I might be wrong. I thought Sega paid your government or something because it was like a fine that they had to pay or something. I don't know.
I would have seen it, but I'm not surprised if they did. But It's just,
I'm not sure. I'm just going off of memory because I
mm.
vaguely remember how that turned out because I didn't keep up with it much when I saw it either.
But I'll tell you what, this is what happens when you serialize games for once a year. You don't have enough time to make the damn game in the first place.
Well, I mean, the problem with them is that Ubisoft, like for example, Assassin's Creed 3 had glitches. That was a game that, from what I remember, they said took them 3 or 4 years to make.
Hmm.
Because what they do with these games is that they have Sega, God, Ubisoft has so
Hmm.
many teams that they usually have a team working on one of the Assassin's Creeds as they're making the other one.
Hmm.
So it's like with when right after I believe 2 was released, they said the team that was working on Assassin's Creed 2 went ahead and started working on 3, while the other teams took over and helped with Brotherhood and Revelations. And while when one team was working on I think Revelations, the same team that was working on Revelations started on Assassin's Creed 4 for Black Flag. Yeah.
Hmm.
So it was like they usually do that cycle where they have teams rotate. With this one, I'm trying to figure out. I remember reading somewhere that there was 10 developers working on this one. 10 Ubisoft studios working on it.
And they still
I
fucked
could,
up.
yeah, well, I mean that makes sense why it's fucked up because communication problems. Because there was one team that was handling the I forgot which team it was. I think it was the news team that they established in either Montreal or Quebec, one of the two,
Hmm.
that was handling the main bulk of the story. And I believe it was the team behind Brotherhood that did multiplayer. But then they had other teams handling the other parts of the game too, like DLC and maps and stuff like that. So it's like when you have so many people working on it, you have the issue of too many cooks in the kitchen,
I guess,
and
but
and then poor communication on top of that. It's
they
got to happen at some point.
at some yeah, I also think they're doing something with their time that's impacting on the game. If you've got 4 years to make a game, so this say this was pre-production started in 2010.
Right.
How the hell is it a mess? Like, surely you have an alpha in a year, a beta in 2 or 3.
Can you restate that your mic scattered a little bit?
Did it? Oh,
Yeah, like it's doing it again. I think you're either too close to it or whatever because it's like
how's that?
yeah, it's better because it's scattered. Like when you have a it's like you went auto tune for a second.
All right, I'll see if I can cut that out actually.
Yeah.
Anyway, what I was gonna, oh, can you remind me what I was saying?
You were saying that they would have with 4 years in development, they would think you would
Oh
be
yeah, so like a beta they'd have a working beta within 1 or 2 or 3 years, and then basically that within after that it's basically making it the fully fledged game, which shouldn't really take too long after a beta. Usually doesn't, but like I don't know whether or not they set unrealistic deadlines or they just boggles the mind. I can't get my head around this because I'm not saying 10 years ago that there weren't bugging, glitchy games on release. There were, but at least they were playable and I, and at least you wouldn't have too many complaints. I mean, in the 90s, I guess I heard a lot of people, especially on Rage, that they said, well, sometimes if you got a game that didn't work, it didn't work. But you'd think in this day and age that they shouldn't. I mean, even the console games are now beginning to get glitchy and crashy on release. Like, do you remember? Did you play Batman Asylum, Arkham Asylum? I mean, not Arkham Asylum, Arkham Origins.
I played it after the fact. I got it after they had already released the patches and stuff.
Well, like I remember playing it on release, and you try and fast travel, you'd fast travel, and then it would just lag, like you wouldn't stop. It would just keep lagging and lagging, lagging. So you basically had to travel manually all the way across the map, and it was frustrating. And then at one point, I was fighting a boss, and I got to this bridge, and there's all these dudes that you've got to beat the shit out of, and when I went to hit them, they kept moving back. But then I went to hit another group and they kept going back and back, and I realised it's bugging out on me. And then I had to restart the game. And this happened. That one only happened once, but it's happened to other people as well. And I realised when I looked on the internet about why it was lagging after I fast travelled. You can't fast travel, and then I think it's Warner Brothers who do that, isn't it? Warner Brother Game Studios, like they would not do a proper patch for it because they were doing
Yeah,
the DLC, I refuse to buy that DLC, and I still haven't played it.
Well, they did a patch for it eventually to fix it.
Yeah, I probably had it. Yeah.
Yeah, it was okay. I found the list of studios on their Wikipedia page for Assassin's Creed Unity. Ubisoft Montreal is the lead developer team on the project,
Yeah.
with contributing work from the Ubisoft studios in Toronto, Kiev, Singapore, Shanghai, Annecy, Annecy. Boy, my speed. Okay, Annecy, Montpellier, and Budapest, and Quebec. I can't pronounce the other cities.
Do you want me to have a look at it? Hang on.
Yes,
Oh, thank you.
please. Yes, edit that part out where I can pronounce it, please.
Yes, I will. Don't worry.
Ding. So you
Ding.
know. Yes.
Hang on. I have to use my keyboard. Proper one. Nah.
Did you just say nah?
My
Okay. You sound like Nicki Minaj for a second. Stop that. Or Lady Gaga, if you ever seen her live.
I heard she sounds pretty good live.
She sounds good live, but she'll do speeches for her fans in between her songs, and she'll make loud, weird sound effects.
Oh yeah, I understand.
And she wasn't always good live. I remember seeing her on a Monster Ball tour videos on YouTube when she first started, and she would just in the middle of a song just start singing about penises.
Penis.
Like she'll be like, "Show me your penis. Show me your freaking penis.
Show me your penis."
I was like, oh, okay.
Hang on.
It's like, do you really want me to do that? That's indecent exposure. I'll go to jail.
She doesn't have a penis. That was a myth.
No, she doesn't, but she would tell people to show it.
Yeah. Show me your penis.
Now she's been in a 3-year relationship with a guy from Chicago Fire.
I think she's been with him for a while, hasn't she? Was
Yeah,
that
3
someone
years
else?
now.
Oh, I thought that was someone else. Oh well. Hang on. Here we are. Oh, right. Trying to find it now. Well,
Just go to Assassin's Creed Unity and then you're in Wikipedia. Then you'll find it.
yeah. It just says Ubisoft Montreal here.
Go down to where it says development,
All right, hang on.
and
Here
then
we
it'll
are.
be on the first paragraph, the very last sentence.
Toronto, Kiev, Singapore, Shanghai, Annecy, Montpellier, Bucharest, Quebec, Chengdu.
Yeah, those are the teams that worked on it. With I thought it was 10 because that's what it's read on the article that I read. I think it was on GameWeb, but I guess I was wrong. But yeah, when you have that many people working on the game, it's not surprising that it would be glitchy because people are working on different portions of the game and stuff like that. And I think Montreal is a fairly new studio, isn't it, for them?
I think so, probably. I don't know what they made it for, though.
No, Quebec is the new studio.
Quebec is a new one.
I think that's the new one because that was the team I believe that they started with that did the recent Splinter Cell game, which is how do you say it? Shite, the way you pronounce shite,
Shit and shite.
shite,
Interchangeable.
Yeah, that game was shite. It didn't make no sense. It was awful.
Yeah. Yeah, I think the gaming studio's gonna have to take a long look at themselves after all this recent shenanigans. They've got to get their act together. They can't stop doing this, and you know, there's gonna be a tipping point where the gamers say no, and then stop buying your games.
Well, I mean, I think the biggest problem that they're having right now is the fact that these games have such big budgets. So it's like, you know, it's like they have a deadline. It's like if they don't reach, they create that deadline. So it's like, this is our deadline, so we don't go over budget. If they go past it, they go over budget. And it costs a lot of money to go over budget. You have to, since gaming is a business, you have to explain that to shareholders and investors and all those types of things. And that's a tough conversation to have when you explain why one game is so ridiculously over budget.
True, but then they really should have known better in the first place.
Yeah, well, I mean, sometimes like you make a game and they have these big ambitions and stuff like that. And well, because I have a friend that's a game developer. He's probably listening. I don't know. Yeah, I actually invited him to be on the show, but he's not interested until his game is finished.
Alright,
he
fair
works.
enough.
Yeah, but he's on a game team, and he basically told me like the way you make a game is that you build around the technology you have currently available, and you look at what you have, and then you decide, okay, what can we do graphically? What type of game do we want to create? Well, what can we do with the physics? Like you build from the tech, you build around the technology. So sometimes I imagine like they're working with this technology, they're working with this hardware, they think they've got a good understanding, and then some problems occur down the line, and they have to work around that.
Well, we move on. Hopefully the gaming studio will sort themselves out eventually for 2015.
Also, when my house shakes hands with the house next door, I guarantee you it will happen. But until then,
Sort yourselves out. Anyway, Telltale's Game of Thrones will be 6 episodes long, a huge 1 episode more than The Walking Dead and Wolf Among Us. Telltale's game's hugely anticipated Game of Thrones adaptation will be released in 6 episodes. The news comes via a tantalising official image. Well, it's just got the Iron Throne. It's not really tantalising. Which also offers a brief glimpse of environment and the gorgeous oil paint aesthetic. Check it out below. This is IGN, by the way, people. As we already knew, the first episode of 6 will be called Iron from Ice. While official details on the series narrative are still thin and on the ground, we've done our fair share of speculation based on the 3 Game of Thrones teasers dropped so far. Telltale revealed that its new title will have 5 playable characters from the same family, and our choices will affect everyone in their family. That adds to a whole new layer to things that we're really excited about, said Telltale's Senior Vice President of Publishing, Steve Allison. While we still don't have an official release date for Iron from Ice, we've been promised the episode is still on track to hit stores sometime this year. Don't make it buggy. Keep your eye out on the site for more on Telltale's Game of Thrones this week. Well,
you're gonna have to repeat that because
it happened again.
You're gonna have to repeat that because it happened again.
Okay. Well,
just not all of it, just the end.
The end. So while we still don't have an official release date for Iron from Ice, we've been promised the episode is still on track to hit stores sometime this year. Keep your eye out on the site for more on Telltale's.
It did it again, Chris.
For fuck's sake! Sorry.
It did again.
Because I can't hear it. Right, one more time.
I can hear
doing this. While we still don't have an official release date for Iron from Ice, we've been promised the episode is still on track to hit stores sometime this year. Keep your eye out on the site for more. Fuck that bit. Alright, ding. Okay, now you can. Okay, well, personally, I don't give a shit about this particular one. I think, personally, I'd rather watch the TV show. Unlike The Walking Dead, where I'd rather play the games. And as with the usual when it comes to Telltale and any game choices, your choices don't really affect anything. It's just, here's one.
It's a choose your own adventure story.
It's
a choose your own adventure story.
I guess so, yeah. It's basically this choice and this choice will take you to this other place, the same place, and then there'll be a choice, and then and so on, rinse and repeat. Rather than this choice will take you to this bit. Yeah.
Chris.
What?
Your mic went silent for like two sentences in a row. I don't know if you're doing that on purpose or not, but it's
I'm
just
not doing it on purpose. Why would I do it on purpose?
I don't know. I thought maybe you were pausing, but it went silent, and then the static that's usually associated with your mic went away as well.
Not with this mic. Hang on.
I hear static. It's the first time I don't hear my own voice back. So.
Well, I sound fine to me. Hang on. I think it's you, but we'll find out. I'll take the boost off.
I just know that when you were talking, it went silent mid-sentence. You were like, I really don't care for this game. I was like, Chris?
That was
I don't know.
you. That wasn't me, because I can hear myself. Oh, for God's sake, it's gone down again. It won't. It's pissing me off, this.
Chris, you gotta remember, this is like your prom night. You gotta keep it up.
No, I'm kind of sick of this right now. Hang on. Right, we'll keep it like that. Right. So, anyway,
Chris, may I just say, I enjoy doing the podcast with you.
I've not had mic problems like this before.
I know, but I enjoy doing it with you. You put up with so much of my shit.
I do. I've had to put up with people not turning up. Anyway, they'll ding that bit. So yeah, I'm not really in. I'm not interested in this. They'll have to. They'll have to do something that will pique my interest. But I don't think so. I mean, I've seen the graphics. And it looks pretty crap compared to The Walking Dead and Wolf Among Us. What do you think? Are you interested?
I mean, I'm not a Game of Thrones fan. I've never seen the show. I mean, but it's one of those shows where I've had so much of it spoiled for me because everyone who's seen the show talks about it, assumes everyone has.
Yeah.
But I mean, I'm not really interested either. So I mean, but it is a Telltale game, and I am kind of fascinated for it. I mean, it's not like The Walking Dead where I was already a fan of the show before the game came around. So when the game came around, I was like, oh, an extra Walking Dead thing. And in some ways, I wish the show would take some of the tragic things that they will do. I wish they would bring that over to the actual show, but it's whatever. But when it comes to Game of Thrones, I'm not really interested. But I
Yeah.
do think that everyone complain about the graphics. I'm like, it is just a teaser, and in the world of Game of Thrones, at least from glimpses I've seen online, it doesn't look like a pretty place, to be honest, from what I've seen.
It's a complete shithole.
Okay.
Yeah. Anyway, well, so yeah, graphics can be pretty, but the style can still be ugly. But then that's Telltale. They've never been known for great graphics anyway.
Yeah.
But then again, the gameplay's not that great either. It's just point and click.
Yeah, like a choose your own adventure game.
Yeah, but I can see why my dad didn't like The Walking Dead.
Did Dad plays video games?
I, yeah, I've told everyone this. He's one of the older gamers.
Oh, I remember you mentioned it, but I wasn't sure. Like usually when someone says, "Oh, my dad plays video games," they play on their handphones, the iPhones, and stuff like that.
And I guess we should move on to our next article, which is actually a very important piece of news, which needs to be said. Valve clarifies early access rules. Valve has updated its conditions for Steam Early Access, with new rules and guidelines aimed at more transparency. The updated documentation notes that it recognises unforeseen circumstances may force plans to fall through, but it takes a direct attempt at stemming some of the problems of early access games. The new rules, via Giant Bomb, require developers to certify that a game is early access by name when distributing Steam keys outside the Steam marketplace. This, along with the suggestion to explain the current status of the project, so customers understand exactly what they're getting. The rules also ask developers to avoid making specific promises about future events, so that customers buy into the game in its current state. Other rules are more financial nature. One requires it to launch on early access at the same time as other storefronts. Another requires sales to be consistent and requires that developers don't set a price on Steam that's higher than other stores. Valve also outlined guidelines aimed at advising developers on how to make their early access game a success. These suggestions run a wide gamut, from yet setting proper expectations to not launching if you need high sales to stay afloat. Some are more obvious than others. One suggests not launching in early access without a playable game. If it's just a tech demo, it's too early. Inversely, Valve suggests developers not launch when their game is essentially done, because then customers can't have an impact and are simply acting as bug testers. This follows a recent report that stated most early access games are still in beta after 20 months, and only 25% have launched full versions. The way I see it is, it's about time that Valve did clarify all these early access rules, because I'm kind of sick of tired of seeing games on my Steam wall, so to say, that have been there for so long, still in beta form and incredibly expensive. Some of them, like you won't believe some of the prices they want you to pay, and and basically it'll sort out hopefully the crap from the good, and hopefully the consumer will not be tricked, and the developers will be given a kick up the ass, hopefully, and we'll see a bit more quality control. But I just have a feeling it's kind of too little, too late, in my opinion, because the market's already flooded with indie games. Like there's so many on Steam, and there's no, like I say, there's no sense or hint of control from Valve. So that market's just going to implode at some point because there's so many. Anyway, what do you think, David?
I find it interesting that they said. I find it interesting that they said that you can't have your prices. Steam prices for early access cannot be higher than other retailers. Now lower, now lower. Now we're all about that. That gives more people to us. Chris, you there?
Yeah, I'm listening to you.
I'm just making sure. So I was like, okay. It's like you brought out new rules, but you also pretty much said like just do everything in favor of us, which makes sense. But I mean, I don't know exactly. I mean, I don't use Steam regularly enough to know what the day one things are like because I don't have a PC that can run most games that are developed on Steam. Like I can run Left 4 Dead 2 and BioShock 2 at low graphics and stuff like that. And I can kind of sort of run Sims 3, but my computer for some reason treats the Sims like it's Crisis 3 or Halo 4 and just wants to burst in flames. I don't know if Halo 4 is out for PC, but
No,
you
it's not.
guys,
I don't think it is. No, it would be on
but
Steam
PC
if it.
gamers, you get what I'm saying.
Yes.
So I think it's pretty cool that they're doing this. It sounds like they're trying to protect the consumer and as well protect themselves, which is how you're supposed to do good business.
Yep.
Whether or not they'll make exception to the rules depending on how much money's thrown at them, I don't know. I mean, they are part of EA, and EA has Origin, and so I don't think they'll have that problem. But then again, another third party like who might come in and say, "Hey, we have some money. Let's throw some money at you to and make these rules go away." I'm suspect of.
Hmm. Yeah. Well, we'll see the ramifications of this eventually. I'm not really confident with those rules. But anyway, let's move on. After our little delay before, hint hint, nudge nudge, and the Xbone sales in the UK finally passed 1 million. Yes, Microsoft has sold 1 million Xbox One consoles in the UK, says IGN.
1 million bones.
1 million bones! The news comes courtesy of MCV, where it's also announced Microsoft's consoles managed to outsell Sony PS4 for the last 3 weeks on the trot. You're still not going to catch up, Microsoft. It's an impressive achievement for the Xbone, but Microsoft still has a long way before it catches Sony, as the PS4 shot past a million in the UK back in September. Sony managed this feat in 42 weeks. Sorry, there's a typo in the article, people. While it seems to have taken Microsoft around a year. That's only good enough for the second and third spots on the fastest selling UK consoles, though, with the Wii still sitting pretty at number one, having hit in 38 weeks. That should really say Wii U.
Okay,
Last,
because I'm about to say the Wii.
I know the
The,
Wii. I won't be
the
surprised.
hell's wrong with
Actually, I won't be surprised if it was the Wii.
what the hell is wrong with UK gamers that the Wii is still doing well?
Hmm.
What are you guys? Well, you guys really are the eighth continent, if that's the case.
No, not really. Oh, with the eighth continent with a typo. Ooh. Anyway, last we heard, in the first quarter of this year, the PS4 was outselling the Xbox 3-1. Though this news seems like all things could be on the turn for Microsoft, in the UK at least, with the all-important Christmas period ahead, there's certainly everything to play for. Now, as a Brit, this doesn't say anything that Microsoft is in any way having a bright future in the UK. It's not. The PS4 may be being outsold the past 2 weeks, but that's because I reckon because of the things they've done, taking the Kinect out, lowering the price to round about the same as the PS4, we see more people buying it. But if you were to think, the PS4's already got a million since September, and it's taken the Xbox a hell of a lot longer to get to a million. PS4 might be outsold, but they'll still be selling consistent units enough to keep ahead. So it'll still be at 3-1 by next year. That's my
Well,
opinion. and especially with
Well,
the Christmas period, it's going to Microsoft will still be outdone. What are you going to say, David?
I'm sorry. Well, I was gonna say that I just went on VG charts, videogamecharts.com to see what the sales gap between them globally were between the Xbox One and all of the next gen consoles really. The Xbox One, PS4, Wii U, 3DS, and PS Vita. I want to start with the lowest first at 9.1 million sold is the PlayStation Vita global sales.
Mhm.
Controlling 16.4 of the market.
Mhm.
At let's see where I'm at. At number the next one is the Wii U with 7.4 million sold, and it's been out for 2 years, so that's kind of sad actually. Um, and the next one is the Xbox One, which is close to the Wii U with 7.6 million in sales. And then there is the PlayStation 4, which with 14.4 million in sales. And then at the top of the list is the 3DS with 46.4 million in sales. Nintendo, why the hell do you still have the Wii U around? Dear
Bayonetta
God.
2. Bayonetta 2.
Still put you should have made that a 3DS game because dear God,
Or the
there's
very
no justification.
least, port it to the other consoles. And it's not a Nintendo game anyway, so
It is Nintendo, but they're the one publishing it.
true. But it was a cross console thing before. Number one
Yeah,
was.
I mean, because at first it was published through Sega, and then Sega didn't want to publish Bayonetta 2, so they went to several other companies, and the only one that really had an interest was Nintendo, from what I read.
Hmm.
Because the
Well,
other consoles like, yeah, the sales are kind of meh. Nintendo's like, hey, we need a hardcore
but
game, and
what
this
does
has a
this
following.
but what does this say about Microsoft?
That I think what it says about Microsoft is that they're gaining some traction with the Wii U, with the Wii U, with Connect being gone,
Hmm.
and that this, I mean, on one hand, it does. I mean, I'm worried because I know that even with the high price tag with the Connect at $600, it was still, well, at least in the US at $600, it was still sold at a profit. And then when they removed the Connect and dropped it down to $400 here, it was still sold at a profit. So I'm worried with the price drop. It's like, are they risking taking a loss just so they can have that, so they can have a sales gain, so they can gain momentum? Because they've done that in previous console generations. That was a thing. The Xbox 360, I believe, was sold at a loss, but
Yeah.
it it sold so well and sold so quickly that it was immediately justified. I'm worried that by starting so soon at selling at a loss, that they might hurt themselves. But I guess in the long run, but I guess
Well,
we'll see in the future how sales continue to go.
when it
I mean,
comes to
grow.
PC games and selling PCs, they can totally take that loss, but it'll be definitely a hit. But anyway, we'll need to take a quick break because I need to get my tea. Um, okay. Oh, I think, and with that, we move on to Walmart and changes to their price match policy. So we've had two changes of policy already in one show. Walmart has changed their price matching policy following a series of fraudulent purchases made earlier this week. Taking advantage of Amazon's ability to create third-party vendor pages for items, customers turned in printed screenshots of unofficial PlayStation 4 listings priced at just under $90, passing them off as official to get the console at less than a quarter of its market price. However, Walmart's new price matching rules should prevent others from taking advantage. We've updated our policy to clarify that we will match prices from Walmart.com, they said, on 30 major online retailers, but we won't honour prices from marketplace vendors, third-party sellers, auction sites, or sites requiring memberships. Some of the online retailers who made the cut include Amazon, Best Buy, Kmart, Target, and Toys R Us. Find the full list of vendors in Walmart's updated online price match policy, which is on the article. They've linked it, which is on Walmart's official website. If you ever want to check that out, just go over there. Anyway, I don't really know what's going on with this, but you might know, David, as the American.
Yes, what's basically happened is that well, I thought it's in a different story, but basically what's happening is that some venues are having price drops and stuff like that, and Walmart has a policy that they will match for the PlayStation 4 any game, any venues. But the problem is some venues are having at such a low price that Walmart couldn't possibly, match that and make a profit. Um, and then on top of that, people are coming in with
Hmm.
prices from certain websites that have the PS4 listed as like around 300 or lower around that, and Walmart can't match it. But another thing that just happened is that they got hacked. Well, Walmart.com got hacked, and some people had the PlayStation 4. I think it's kind of somewhat of a retaliation to this. I don't know when the timeline is, but it seems like it is. The PlayStation 4 was listed on Walmart for $90. Yes, the console
Hmm.
that's normally $400 is listed at 90, and some people, believe it or not, participated and tried to buy it.
Did they actually manage to get it for $90?
No,
Oh,
um,
that's a shame, innit?
yeah. Walmart basically had to say, yeah, we're sorry, but no, we're not selling the PlayStation 4 for $90. So
So
it's
what?
just,
So what would they do to the people who bought it for $90 but didn't
but
actually
they
spend
didn't.
$90?
Well, basically, they're gonna, because the way it works is they actually don't take the money off. I don't believe they don't take the money off your card, until you get until the console actually
Oh,
arrives at the
yeah.
store.
Yeah, I understand. Yeah.
Because that's how it was for Best Buy when I got my Xbox One. They didn't take the money off my card until the money arrived at the Best Buy store for me to pick it up.
Hmm.
Yeah. And I know speaking of which, yeah, if you saw a console, this is gonna say something. If you
All
saw a
right.
console that you know is $400 and it's sold at $90, would you be foolish enough to buy it and consider it a sale?
Um. Well, first I would.
Of course, I'm talking pounds, by the way, I should say.
Okay, so if it should be about 320 odd quid, but it turns out to be 70 odd, £75, or
Yeah.
85 probably now. I don't know.
Or whatever the equivalent of $400 is in pounds.
It's about 350. Um.
Okay.
Uh. uh no, I wouldn't because one, I'm not that gullible. Two, I'd check to make sure that it is, because I don't know. I wouldn't know if I'm spending it and it'll end up just being the full price, not $90. Plus, I'm on the internet a lot, so I know about hackers and stuff like that. But no, I wouldn't, because I wouldn't trust it, even if it was Walmart. So I'd be like, glitch. And over here, it wouldn't be Walmart. It'd be like, well, the actual equivalent, and they do own this company, is Asda. For me, it would be Asda, but I rarely go to Asda anyway. So chances are, it wouldn't happen to me. But yeah, I wouldn't, because I wouldn't trust it.
Yeah, that's my thing. Is like people got some people got mad and saying, "Well, they should protect the servers," and some people were misled. It's like, but really though, you thought something that was $400 would have a special sale for $90? What the logic in that?
Hmm. Do you even logic, bro?
Speaking of logic, that rapper's album was kind of okay. It was okay. He
Logic,
can't.
eh? I've heard of him,
You have.
but not heard his music. But I've heard of Logic.
Yeah,
Anyway,
his music is
anyway, we must move on, and we're
thing. Are we including Terminator?
we're not at the film bit yet.
Okay.
I don't think so. I think we should keep. We've had so many delays. I want to kind of keep it rolling. So
Yeah.
the only last minute thing we're gonna do is the 1984 thing.
All right.
So yeah. So ding and ding. And so we move on to the 2014 Game Awards nominees announced. And this is on GameSpot. Bayonetta 2. Sorry. The nominees for the Game Awards 2014 other awards have been announced. Drum roll. Bayonetta 2, Dark Souls 2, Dragon Age Inquisition, Hearthstone, and Middle-earth Shadow of Mordor are up for the top prize of overall Game of the Year. Excuse me. Dark Souls 2, Hearthstone, Shadow of Mordor, and South Park The Stick of Truth lead the way with 3 nominations each across all categories. Meanwhile, Nintendo was the most nominated publisher with 12 nominations. Below is a breakdown of nominees by category. Nominees were selected by a jury of 28 international media, including GameSpot and sister site Giant Bomb. To be considered, games must have been released commercial by November the 25th. That should be commercially. But never mind. God, so many typos in articles these days. Game of the Year: Bayonetta 2, Dark Souls 2, Dragon Age Inquisition, Hearthstone, Middle-earth: Shadow of Mordor. Why the fuck is South Park not in that? Never mind. Best Independent Game: Broken Age at 1. Monument Valley, Shovel Knight, Transistor, which I heard was very good, and The Vanishing of Ethan Carter. Best Narrative: South Park: The Stick of Truth, The Walking Dead Season 2, The Wolf Among Us. That's not fair. 2 Telltale games. Valiant Hearts: The Great War, which I heard is actually very good, and here's one: Wolfenstein: The New Order.
Wait. What?
Wolfenstein.
We'll talk about it after you're done.
Do you mean the new one? The new Wolfenstein?
We'll talk about it after you're done.
Sure, alright. Best performance: Adam Harrington as Bigby Wolf, The Wolf Among Us. I can't argue with that, he was pretty good. Kevin Spacey as Jonathan Irons, Call of Duty Advanced Warfare. Melissa Hutchinson as Clementine, The Walking Dead Season 2. Trey Parker as various voices, South Park: The Stick of Truth. You know, why not just put Parker and Stone in for anyway, as a one person? Why just Trey? Never mind. Troy Baker as Talion, Middle-earth: Shadow of Mordor. I've not played that game yet. Best Remaster: Grand Theft Auto 5. Okay, now this is, apart from the Pokemon Omega Ruby Alpha Sapphire, and I'd count the Master Chief Collection as not among these. This is basically the best rip-off and the best let's make a load of money on the new consoles. So this is Grand Theft Auto 5, Pokemon Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire, The Last of Us Remastered, the Master Chief Collection, Tomb Raider Definitive Edition. Best Action Adventure: Alien Isolation, Assassin's Creed Unity, Bayonetta 2, Middle-earth: Shadow of Mordor, Sunset Overdrive. Best Fighting Game: Killer Instinct Season 2, Persona 4 Arena Ultimax, Super Smash Bros. 3DS, and its Wii U counterpart, which that's cheating. Never mind. I don't know. Ultra Street Fighter 4. Street Fighter 4 came out years ago, unless this is a new version of it.
It's a new version.
Alright. Best Sports Racing Game: FIFA 15, Forza Horizon 2, Mario Kart 8, NBA 2K15, and Trials Fusion. Best Shooter: Call of Duty Advanced Warfare, Destiny, Far Cry 4, Titanfall, and Wolfenstein: The New Order. Best Family Game: Disney Infinity 2.0, Fantasia Music Evolved, Mario Kart 8, Skylanders Trap Team, Tomodachi Life. Best Online Experience: Call of Duty Advanced Warfare. Well, clearly don't mean the crazy 10-year-olds. Dark Souls 2, Destiny, Hearthstone, Titanfall. Best Mobile Handheld Game: Bravely Default, Hearthstone, Monument Valley, Super Smash Bros. With 3DS. Threes! I really want to play Bravely Default. Developer of the Year: Blizzard, Monolith, Nintendo, Telltale, and Ubisoft Montreal. Best Score Soundtrack: Alien Isolation, Child of Light, Destiny, Sunset Overdrive, Transistor. Games for Change. I don't know what that means. Mountain, Never Alone, The Last of Us Left Behind, This War of Mine, Valiant Hearts: The Great War. Is that a category for the best political message?
I think it's either political message or emotional message. I have no idea what they mean by that.
Some of these like categories are so stupid. Like best remaster, games for change,
Finish before we tear them apart.
I know, but I need to say this anyway. Most anticipated game. These ones make sense that are coming after it though. Most anticipated game: Batman: Arkham Knight, Bloodborne, Evolve, The Witcher 3, Wild Hunt, and Uncharted 4: A Thief's End. It won't be his end, but anyway. Esports Player of the Year. Martin Reckles Larsen, League of Legends. Zhu Fai Linson, Dota 2. James Firebat Kostesic, Hearthstone. Christopher Get Right, Alisund Counter-Strike Go. Matt Nadishot Haag, Call of Duty. Esports Team of the Year. Samsung White, League of Legends. Evil Geniuses, Dota 2. Edward Gaming, League of Legends. Newbie, Dota 2. And Ninjas in Pyjamas, Counter-Strike Go. Trending Gamer, Evan Vanos Fong. Jeff Gerstmann, PewDiePie. Stampy Longhead, and my fellow Brit, Total Biscuit. And finally, but certainly not least, best fan creation, best Zelda rap ever by Egoraptor. Luigi Death Stare by CZBY.
You can stop. You can stop.
I'm not done yet. I'm not done yet.
I feel like the rest are just fillers from what the
Let me
listeners
finish
gave.
it. Let me finish it. Best
Okay.
Zelda rap ever by Egoraptor. Luigi Death Stare by CZBY and Risupikor. Mine the Diamond. Minecraft Song by Tobuscus. Minecraft Titan City by Colonial Puppet. Twitch Plays Pokemon by Anonymous. And that's it. The Video Game Awards will take place Friday, December the 5th, starting 6 p.m. Pacific, 9 p.m. Eastern Time, or 1 a.m. UK. I'll be asleep. Fuck that.
On IGN.
That was on GameSpot.
No, the show is going to air on IGN.
Oh, fantastic.
Yeah.
So, what do you think? I'll let you go first.
Can you please repeat publisher for me? The nominees for publisher.
All right, hang on. Best publisher. Hang on. Oh wait, hang on. It says developer actually. So Blizzard, Monolith, Nintendo, Telltale, Ubisoft Montreal. I don't even know what Monolith has released this year.
Who is Monolith?
They did Fear and the Condemned games. They've probably done something else, but I can't remember.
Did they do that? I know Fear has an online game that's out.
Yeah, maybe that's why.
But that game isn't good. I mean, it's basically Fear, but online. But anyway, okay, I have a problem with the nominees for, what was the first one that really upset me? Wolfenstein for narrative. Okay, okay, are we really going to go with that?
Have you played it yet?
I played it on my PS3. I played some of it I had to return it right after that because it didn't work at all for my PS3. But from what I played of it, that game doesn't deserve narrative. It's a fun game, but narrative, no. Doesn't deserve narrative nomination.
Bear in mind, by narrative they mean story.
Exactly. That's exactly what I'm saying.
From what I've seen, it actually has quite an interesting story.
It's interesting, it's fun, but I wouldn't nominate it for the award just because it's, I don't know.
South Park doesn't deserve... Well, it does deserve best narrative, but I mean, it doesn't deserve to just be there, and wherever else it was, I think. Should be on the best game. Should be Game of the Year. That was like... the first
There's a bias
really
towards
good
licensed
game.
games.
There is, I guess. I mean, that was a good game on its own right. If anything, Monolith shouldn't be there because I don't know what they've released.
Okay.
But Obsidian should be there, and they usually don't make very good games.
They don't. I mean, New Vegas was okay if you could play it. If you could play it. If you couldn't play it, if you were like most of the world that couldn't play it, it was pretty awful game. I mean, I got towards the end and the glitch wouldn't let me finish the game.
Yeah, I take issue with some of the categories like best remaster. What the fuck? That's just the best cash grab. Apart from Master Chief and Pokemon Amiga Ruby, blah blah blah. They actually
to me, those are filler categories. Like they needed to justify time, so they gave, okay, let's give an award to this, let's give an award to that. And also, I feel like, by the way, Jeff Keighley is the one producing this. You may know him from GameTrailers.com and Game Trailers TV on Spike, but I don't think it's on Spike anymore. I don't believe, because Viacom, Spike TV's parent company, sold Game Trailers to the same company that owns The Escapist. But anyway, so this is why they're doing it, because remember the Game Awards used to come on Spike TV, and
Yeah.
then last year
Well,
they
in the
tried to do
US, yeah.
yeah, and then last year they used to try to come on they tried to do the VGX, which was online, which dear God, that was the worst thing ever. I mean that thing was horrid. Joe McHale basically said from the community, basically said video game awards, screw video games, and he spent the whole time making fun of video games and bashing them. It was almost like okay, at first it was funny, then after a while it was like okay, you were paid to do your job, do your job. But
Mm.
anyway, that put the final nail in the coffin of the working relationship. Plus, Viacom got a stake in the parent company of the Escapists, and that's part of the reason why they sold it was for an exchange.
Yeah.
Um, but anyway, back to the actual awards itself. I think what Jeff Keighley's trying to do is good because he's always tried to make the Game Awards the video game equivalent of the Oscars.
Yeah.
But I don't think it's going to happen just to the very nature of the gaming community and how gamers view video games.
Mm. Yeah, it's even more polarized than film, and like, let's be honest
And
here. Out of all those best remaster things, and I need to get on with the other ones too that I have issue with as well. Those categories. It's only the Pokemon games and the Master Chief Collection that actually are worth it because they're actual remasters. They are actually games like Pokemon and Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire are technically different games to the original Ruby and Sapphire, and the Master Chief Collection has, from what I can gather, it has improved graphics. I think, doesn't it? Like I know the first one did, the Combat Evolved,
yeah, they
and
have
and new cutscenes that look absolutely beautiful.
yeah, they updated the graphics, but you can for the multiplayer. Well, actually, you can for I think the single player as well, but I think it's the multiplayer is what I saw.
Yeah,
You can switch between with one of the buttons
yeah, I
between the
saw that. Yeah.
new graphics and the old school graphics. Which I don't know why we'll go to the old school graphics, but if you're just that much of a nostalgia freak, then yes.
Well, I don't really mind old graphics that much, to be honest. As long as you can, as long as the controls are playable.
Yeah, but sometimes with old graphics, you kind of newer graphics add an extra weight. I feel to scenes now.
I don't know, like I can totally play Final Fantasy 6, and I was like one when that came out.
You were one and played Final Fantasy VI. Tell me how you played that right after you got out
No, I
of your
mean
mom's.
I can play it now and not feel like it's the graphics impact it in any way for me.
Yeah, but I think it's because you had a previous. You've already have a positive notion of that game.
Well, more Final Fantasy series.
Like if you had like someone else like from this generation, like a kid from this generation, they'd be like, "What is this buggy? What is this weird looking bug-eyed thing that is running around? What what's these graphics? Why are they just pixels?"
Well, don't forget it's 2D. It's 2D, and like that's in vogue at the moment, so it hasn't actually aged that much.
Yeah, you said that's in vogue.
In vogue, yeah.
That's
Well, at least
that's
for the indie community, you know. Like they use
what?
2D a lot. 16-bit,
Oh
8-bit.
no, I just you saying in vogue. I
Yeah,
just
in vogue as in it's like the thing to do for
oh that's
indie games.
okay. That's UK.
So it's
I
not
guess
dated.
it's UK slang then because I don't. I was
No?
like in vogue. I was just thought of. I just thought of
It's not
Madonna. Come on,
it's not a UK slang at all. I just assume that's what people say.
it kind of is because I don't think I don't. Well, at least I don't know anyone that says it
No,
anymore.
everything I say is UK slang, mate.
I know. I was like in Vogue. I just thought of
Anyway,
Madonna. Come
back
on,
back
Vogue. All the
back on
indie games are
topic.
gonna be voguing on the Game Awards. People, there's gonna be Vogue on the Game Awards.
Anyway, here's another category that I don't get. Games for change. What the fuck does that mean?
Yeah,
Games for
that's what I was
change.
thinking. I was like, none of these.
Now
Okay,
this one, okay, I know what it means. It's a political message. I've never played Mountain, never played Never Alone. I didn't play Last of Us Left Behind. I did play the original. This war of mine, I get it. I think that one, from what I've played of it, definitely deserves it. It literally it's an anti-war thing. It even has like a link where you can donate to War Child. Valiant Hearts, it's anti-war, I guess, but I've not played it. But what I've seen of it, it's I don't. I shouldn't actually. I shouldn't judge. Shouldn't judge. I won't judge that because I haven't played it. So yeah.
you can judge it
Well,
because I mean,
what I
you
say,
judge whether or not you want to play it or not.
I
That's
want to
just.
play it. I want to play it, but like, I don't know if it strikes me as a game for change.
It seems sad from that trailer, but then again, I have dogs. So anytime I see dogs doing anything sad, it makes me sad.
Yeah, and then there's also most anticipated game. That's not a category. You don't get in the Oscars most anticipated film of 2015, do you? Or
Well, because most of
2016.
those films for 2015 don't have trailers out or anything.
True. And then I don't mind esports ones. They're fine. I think that's perfectly acceptable. Trending gamer. I only
I
want
don't like
top.
the fact that PewDiePie is nominated. Well, I mean,
That's
he
why I
makes
did that.
$4 million a year. Why is he nominated?
At least Total Biscuit is. Like Total
Uh,
Biscuit's great value for money in my opinion. Yeah, I don't pay for him, but you know.
But my thing is, like some of these, I feel the same way I feel about Oscars to some degree. It's like I get the fact that you want to award people for being talented, but let's not forget these are millionaires. You really want to give them another
I
award that they
wouldn't
can
say
just say,
Total Biscuit is. He does make money, but he doesn't make PewDiePie money. And I don't think they like each other that much, to be honest. I've heard.
I've heard of them not liking each other
Yeah.
from what I've heard.
I've never heard of Jeff Gerstmann and Vanos, Evan Fong.
I but
Or
I've
Stampy Longhead. Never heard of him.
but my thing is with this nominees. Okay, why is Destiny nominated for shooter? Because
Because
I
it's a
played the
shooter. It's
beta
a
for
shooter.
I've played the beta for Destiny. It's okay. I played the beta. Didn't play the actual game, so maybe it's different. But from what I played of the beta, it's a good game. It's a fun game. I've heard people say it's good,
Now,
but I thought the universal consensus was it's not great. So
well,
nominating for best shooter is to me seems more like, well, we need another spot. Let's put Destiny in there.
well,
It doesn't seem like it deserved it. It was more like it got by default.
bear in mind it's there because all the other games that should be there have been delayed until next year.
True, but I feel like if you don't have that many spots, either don't use that category or just settle on the choices that deserve it. Because giving one the bone just because, well, we don't have an extra spot and the rest got delayed, just to me weakens the integrity of your whole show of of the of the
Yeah,
awards actually meaning something. Because then
yeah.
it just seems like you're just throwing away a potential award for somebody solely based on filling a spot.
And I guess at least there's a category for the fans. But I do think there's one thing that should be there, and that's Vivian James. But that's more of a concept art for a game that's coming out. But it was totally fan created. She's like the poster girl for Gamergate basically because of the fine young capitalist. But never mind. I think it's a pretty good concept art. So yeah, that could have been there totally. Apart from that, I have nothing else to really complain about. Although
Oh, I have more, Chris. I have more.
you can't. But actually, I do think that Matt Stone should also have been along with Trey Parker, just because two are inseparable. Like none are ever better than the other, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
Oh,
I mean, as far as that list for games of potential for 20,
actually, best narrative. Telltale should only have one game there. But then again, so does Nintendo have loads of games. But you know what I mean.
yeah, I mean, I disagree on that part,
Walking Dead
but
Season 2 was a disappointment for me.
I liked it.
It was predictable.
The Walking Wolf, excuse me, Wolf Among Us was more of a disappointment for me, just because.
I loved that one. I was enthralled from beginning to end. I really wanted to find out the mystery and stuff.
Yeah, but from the first episode and how the first episode ends and how it makes you anticipate what's going to happen next, the delay time between the first and the second
Okay,
episode.
well, spoilers, and I'm not gonna ding this. Spoilers. The Snow White death thing. All right, I'll give you that. That was contrived, a bit
Well, I
stupid.
knew she wasn't going to die because in the
Yeah,
comic she's not dead and it's a prequel
yeah.
series.
They have
So I
kids
just
now,
felt
don't
like,
they?
but I just felt like also, they're continuing the series in comics. They have a Wolf Among Us comic book actually coming out,
Mhm.
which pissed me off because that means we're not going to get a season 2 more than likely.
Yeah, we are, because they left it on the cliffhanger.
No, they're not. We're probably not.
Yeah, we will. Don't worry. I think they will.
No,
It'll
because
come out at the
between
same time as season 3 of Walking Dead. Trust me.
I
It'll be
don't
a
know.
standalone comic. Like, I bet there's one for the Walking Dead game too.
Nah, I don't know if we're gonna get another one. But
Yeah, we
anyway,
will. It made a lot of money, and they're making too much money.
not Walking Dead money. But anyway,
Doesn't matter. They'll still make a second one because they can't just leave it on the cliffhanger, and they'll
yes.
make even less money
Oh,
releasing it as a comic. Come on,
come on. Back to the Future ends on a cliffhanger, from what I'm sold.
which
The
one?
salmon, the season that they had, They did a Back to the Future Telltale games. I believe that one ends on a cliffhanger.
Yeah, but
Either that or Sam or Max.
this one sold a hell of a lot more.
Back to the Future was also one of the things that made them gave them a cult following. They had an established fan base to please. They didn't please them.
It doesn't matter. I still think still do Wolf Among Us, and you're just being paranoid.
I don't
Anyway,
know.
what else have you got that's invoked your ire?
Just the fact that the very concept of video game awards this time is like, I don't feel like you can make a video game awards where people will take it seriously.
No,
Like
I
I
don't
get
even
that,
think
especially when you look at how they're doing the nominees, the games for
Mm.
change, all of this is just, I feel like you have a video game awards that is fairly respected. I mean, sort of in the industry, and that's Dice, the Dice Awards that they have every year. That's a respected event. Would never be televised because it's literally just people sitting down in conference tables, just giving out awards. It's kind of like all the other awards that they give out for actors in award season that never get televised. It's like they mean a lot. In many ways, mean more than the Golden Globes, But most people don't watch those because they're not nearly as entertaining. There's no entertainment value to that. You can't make a show out of it. So I'm like, if you're going to do a video game awards show, take that award that may not have an entertainment value, mainly because no one probably ever tried to add entertainment value, like Dice or whatever, and try to televise it, try to make it something for people to tune into.
Actually,
Instead of doing this contrived,
I've
pair
got
up
carry on.
IGN.
Sorry, yeah.
Go ahead.
Contrived stuff, yeah. I actually have another gripe. Hearthstone, Game of the Year, but not South Park. Also, Wolf Among Us came out like last year or like 2 years ago. That's not a 2014 game.
It came out last year.
Yeah, I know. I mean, stupid, isn't it? But also Hearthstone. How is that any better than South Park? Hearthstone's a card game with no plot.
Also, if you're gonna say The Wolf Among Us, so did The Walking Dead.
And how come an independent game can't be Game of the Year? That's stupid.
Okay, want to know something else?
Go on.
When it comes to that, there's a bias between two types of games: licensed games and indie games.
Technically, Hearthstone is licensed towards World of Warcraft, though.
Yeah, but it's World of Warcraft. See, it's established video game property.
Yeah, Blizzard doesn't fuck all this year. They've cancelled that Titan game, whatever it was called.
Well, Titan became the game they announced over
True,
whatever.
if that even comes out.
Yeah, it will come out 5 years from now. Knowing Blizzard's track record.
Yep.
Which you have to admire the track record. They do seem to be like, let's put time in our games, and then they launch their games, and then they have some online problems. But hey, at least they
one
put
day
time
there'll be a game and we'll all be dead and it comes out.
Well, yeah, the world will come to an end because they haven't finished. But I assume that would be for a lot of games that are currently in development.
Yeah.
I mean, Jesus will come back by the time that game comes out. But what was I saying? Oh dear God, you got me on a tangent, Chris. I was saying something
about licensed games.
Oh yeah, licensed games and indie games. Like there was Spike game trailers last year. They had the guy that was in charge of the head editor of game trailers. They wanted to nominate Journey for Game of the Year for the 1 year when Journey came out. They didn't nominate it, from what I understand, and it didn't win because Call of Duty ended up winning instead because he didn't feel like Journey was the type of game that should win Game of the Year. That's basically what I remember.
Wow.
And it's like, yeah, there's always a bias towards indie games because to some extent, while people put a lot of time and love, when you compare that to these big multi-million-dollar productions where people put a lot of money into it, spend a lot of time on it, they're never going to get the award season praise as the ones that have a budget, a team that everyone knows and loves to some regard. It's the reason why a lot of indie movies that get nominated every year, that seem to get some critical praise, those are the ones that kind of get left by the wayside, because when it comes to the big awards, people want to see the big stars get nominated. They want to see, the mega stars, because part of it is ratings when it comes to them. Especially with video games, like you want the general populace of gaming to turn in, people who play games to watch your video game awards, even people who aren't hardcore gamers, but just play the Call of Duties or the Destinies every year when they come out. Those types of people, you want them to watch your awards, and they only know the big guys. They don't know the indie guys, and they're not going to tune in for an indie.
Yeah, and with that, I think we should move on.
Yes.
We've got to crack on to the film soon. Anyway, hey,
You have to do
ding,
crack and go to the film section. White.
ding. Should we just leave out Halo? Can't be bothered with that. Halo
Yeah,
5.
we can
It's
leave
not as
out Halo.
important as PSN getting hacked.
No, it's not at all.
And here we are. Ding. Alright. And in other news, this is from Cinema Blend. PSN Windows Live 2K Games user accounts leaked by hacking group. It feels like there's a battleground taking place online at the moment, with some groups fighting to maintain anonymity, some groups fighting for better security, and some groups just trying to watch it all burn. Well, one group actually fits into the category of fighting for better security by watching part of the world burn. CNET is reporting that a group called Dirt Trolling has gained access to thousands of user accounts across the PlayStation Network, Windows Live, and 2K Games. The group has released a paste bin to the public. At least now you can tell what's going on. Anyway, the paste bin states, Dear Internet, the following is a very small portion of Lord Gaben and the rest of his crew's glorious raids across the high seas of the Internet. This isn't just for kicks and giggles. The group is doing this in hopes of getting these companies to elevate their security measures against other groups gaining access to their user data, which happened last year when 40,000 accounts under an Electronic Arts subsidiary were compromised, but gaming media refused to report on it because they didn't want to ruin their relationship with the PR at EA. Dirt Trolling wants companies to increase their server infrastructure security to better withstand DDoS attacks. Some of these attacks were explained by X-Solar, where they rolled out details on how DDoS attacks occur and what they do to a company's servers. According to Dirt Trolling, the idea is not to cause harm, but to help companies improve their consumer protection measures. They also want companies to take them serious, stating, "We have 800,000 from 2K and 500,000 credit card data. In all our raids, we have a total of around 7 million usernames and passwords. We have around 2 million Comcast accounts, 620,000 Twitter accounts, 1.2 million credentials belonging to the CIA domain, 200,000 Windows Live accounts, 3 million Facebook, 1.7 million EA Origins accounts, etc. There are a lot of people and fellow hackers who believe that Dirt Trolling is just a bunch of kids, but the truth is we have been associated with and assisted every well-known hacking group aside from the Syrian Electronic Army and Lizard Squad, although we were invited to join Lizard Squad. It's an interesting time when consumers can expect more advocacy and protection from anarchical hacking groups more than they can from the propaganda-driven media outlets. That's not to say all hacking groups are pro-consumer. It was just back in August that Lizard Squad allegedly took down PSN, Battle.net and Xbox Live. CNET is reporting that Microsoft, 2K and Sony have yet to offer comments on the issue. Nevertheless, Deep Trolling took the opportunity to give themselves a bit of a pat on the back for their previous exploits, extolling their history of hacking with the following comments. You heard from Anonymous at knocking the entire .mil domain offline? Well, that was us. You hear of Red Hat launching DDoS attacks against Turkey's government? That was us as well. You heard about lulzsec knocking gaming servers and websites offline? Well, that was us too. And that was us who knocked serious internet offline earlier this year. Dirt Trolling really has many forms. Most people only see the gaming side of us. We can be very serious hackers. And now we move on to the film news. And Stephen King's The Stand, now planned as 4 films. Some cast already in place. Just when you thought The Hobbit being turned into 3 was bad enough. Warner Brothers Pictures have plans to adapt Stephen King's massive 1978 novel The Stand into a single film and no more. Instead, attached writer-director Josh Boone, The Fault in Our Stars, reveals to Kevin Smith's Hollywood Babylon podcast, via film, that he's now looking at adapting the book into 4 features. I really wanted to do an A-list actor, really grounded, credible version of the movie, says Boone. I sold Warner Brothers on a single 3-hour movie. So what happened is, the script gets finished, I write it in like 5 months, everybody loves it. King loves it, $87 million is what it was budgeted at. Really expensive for a horror drama that doesn't have set pieces. They came back and said, would you do it as multiple films? And I said, fuck yes. So I think we're going to do it like 4 movies. He says like a lot. Previously adapted as a television miniseries in 1994, The Stand tells the story of a full-scale apocalypse driven by accidental release of biological weapon and the ensuing struggle of good versus evil carried out by the world's final survivors. I loved my script, Boone continues, but I was willing to drop it in an instant because you're able to do an even truer version this way. I can't tell you anything about how we're going to do them or what's going to be in which movie. I'll just say we are going to do 4 movies and we're going to do The Stand at the highest level you can do it at with a cast that's going to blow people's minds. We've already been talking to lots of people and have people on board in certain roles that people don't know about. We're looking to go into production next year, maybe in the spring. Previous reports suggest that the Academy Award-winning actor Matthew McConaughey was being sought to play the story's villain, the demonic figure Randall Flagg. Oh, so that's where that name comes from. Never mind. Apropos of nothing, King's book itself makes a brief but memorable cameo in the star's latest, Christopher Nolan's Interstellar. Well, if they're going to make 4 movies, just make another miniseries. What do you think?
Warner Brothers said, "Whoo, we made a lot of money off The Hobbit. We took one book and made 3 films out of it. What's another book we could do that with?" But you know what? How do we make it last for not just 3 years, but 4 years? I got it. We'll take a book that's really, really long, and by another author. Stephen King makes really, really long books, and then we'll stretch it out to 4 movies. It'll be perfect. That never ends up with a bunch of filler movies. No, not at all.
I know, piece of shit.
But what's fascinating to me
Mhm.
is that Peter Jackson, and this is kind of a tangent. Peter Jackson does 3 Lord of the Rings, 3 Hobbit movies, all of which are 2 3-hour long movies.
Mhm.
And it's 3 films. And like in those 3 hours, you telling me you couldn't do the entire story for at least 2 films? Because I know it was planned for 2.
Hmm.
Just like how this one was planned for 1. So I'm wondering about length. Because if it's a long book, are they going to try to do like The Hobbit and like, okay, let's stretch out the length like and make it an epic? Or are they just going to do like the
The
standard
the book is
hour and 30 minutes?
823 pages.
So they're going to have to stretch it out like an epic is what you're telling me.
That could be 3 hours. That like translates to 3 hours. 823
Yeah.
pages. Like, let me just have a look at Gone with the Wind. You know, just for some, I don't know, context. Yeah.
Yeah, the highest grossing movie if you adjust it for inflation.
Really? Wow.
Yeah.
Well, I'm just gonna do the book because I want to know how many pages that is. Okay, that's 1037.
Oof. I know Under the Dome is 1,000 pages.
First edition, which is what they based that on, was 137, while the Warner Books version was 1024,
Oof.
and they made that into a 3-hour film, or 4. I don't know how long it is. Let's have a look. It is 221 minutes. Although if you include the overture, intermission, and entr'acte, and exit music, it's 234 to 238. So that's about
Yes.
3 hours, isn't it?
Yeah, the highest. See, that goes to show people the highest grossing movie of all time, adjusted for inflation, is Gone with the Wind, and it's almost 3 hours long. You see, you can do a 3-hour long movie and it be successful. Not anymore, but you can if you do it for inflation.
Yeah, I mean, The Stand is 200 pages shorter.
Yeah, but my only thing is about this is that I'm concerned because it sounds like he had a planned script, and Warner Brothers just said we need something to replace The Hobbit for our yearly franchise. Harry Potter is still in development,
Mm.
and the Harry Potter prequel or whatever is in development. We don't know if I don't know if they're planning on doing anything with Lord of the Rings, but knowing Warner Brothers, still God, they're gonna figure out something. They're either gonna create their own characters or do some other tangent story, or hey, here's some stories that what's the guy who wrote it? Tolkien wrote
Tolkien.
before he died. You see, we found them, and we're gonna make films out of it. How do y'all just found old Tolkien writings and made it? Yep.
A lot of it was
It's Lord of the
already like
Rings.
published, really. I think.
Yeah, it was, but some of the add-on that they made it 3 hours long was, I believe, stuff that Tolkien had written but never published,
It's
or
just
something along those lines.
the
So if that
director.
filler,
Yeah, that director strikes me as a real yes man. Like,
the one that's in the story.
no, the director who wants to do, yeah, in the story he wants to do it. I'm like, They just rejected your script for you to make 4 hour and a half films that could be really shit.
Yeah, they basically said, "Wow, we love your script, but we need a franchise. Can you chop it up and make 4 films out of it?
Thanks, but
Like,
no thanks.
can you take your script, like take the like you see, okay, it's like okay, open your script up a little bit. It's like okay, that's the title page. Okay, that's the second page. Gotcha. Can you take that part and make a script out of it? Now go to the next page. Okay, you're on page 4 and 5. Okay, take that part, make another one, and then 6 and 7, make another one, and then 7 and 8. What about the rest of the page? And we'll include that if we want to, but really we just want like 4. So if you could take it the bare minimum and make 4, we'll be very happy. We'll do a Peter Jackson and just have long sequences of one thing happening.
Da, 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 da.
Like I don't know much about this, Dan. I haven't read it, but
I want to read it. I remember an ex-friend of mine in school reading
it
that.
sounds fascinating, but I know Stephen King has a tradition of not knowing how to end his books.
Uh,
Like
well,
I've heard that said by multiple people. Like he can't really, and even he's admitted that he can't end a story for the record. But
it doesn't matter. Hey, as long as it's a good book in the end.
and no, because if it comes out at the end of it, they were all My Little Pony characters. I'm gonna be very outraged.
Well, he's not going to do that, is he? It's Stephen King.
Still, if it's that
I
ridiculous
just
or
wish
that stupid,
I just wish that he would like just reissue that book about school killings, because like that's so topical right now, and it
oh
should
dear
put.
God, he couldn't release that at all. Be called distasteful.
So it was out 30 years ago and he took it off because he thought his book caused it. I'm like, how much of an idiot do you have to think that a book would cause someone to shoot a school?
Well, because
Like,
people have said it.
yeah, they say it, but it's not the real reason. It's always an excuse. It's like the same with films and games. There's no evidence. They'll just say it to to
Like
try and get away with it.
the guy who shot John Lennon said he read Catcher in the Rye.
Yeah, didn't make me want to shoot someone.
I
I'd
know,
shoot
but
the
it's
main character though. I
South Park
hated
had
him.
a South Park had a great episode about this. It's like people read into things that isn't there,
True.
and
Oh
if it
wait,
is
yeah,
there,
yeah.
people oversell it.
You're making a lot of noise there.
Yeah, I had to kill a spider on my window.
Oh,
You know,
why are you doing that in?
Chris, if there's a spider, let me make this known. If there's a spider anywhere as we're recording, I will kill it. They're an unholy abomination and they deserve to die.
No, they don't, because then you'll be full of flies and you'll be like, too many flies.
Here's the thing. Listen, I've said this before in my
Flies are more
life.
annoying.
They are, but I've said this before in my life. If there was a way to take spiders out of the ecosystem without it destroying our ecosystem, like a way to do without our ecosystem becoming unstable, I would gladly approve of it.
I wouldn't, because I'd stop you. I'd veto it.
I can veto
Anyway,
it.
we'd
Are you
move.
the president?
I am of this podcast.
Oh.
Anyway,
Well, then I'm going to be the House, and I'm not going to do. I'm the House and now officially the Senate, and I will do, well, basically anything you try to do, Chris. I'm going to stop it.
but I'm the president. I can veto what you push through. Anyway.
Yeah, and then I'll stop what you try to push through and charge and say that you're an emperor.
What? Even if? Well, then I'll just make a revolution. I'll just get a revolution and get the people to put a Texas whoop-ass on you. Anyway.
You do realize you're British. You have a kingdom. Why are you not resorting to that? I don't
Yeah,
understand why you
what?
want to be
A
president.
kingdom? Yeah, not an empire.
Oh yeah, you lost your empire. I'm sorry.
You're losing yours, so don't mock
Hey,
me.
hey. We'll still have a long ways to go, sir.
You don't have a long ways to go. Anyway.
Well, at least we don't have. How about this? We are not emperors. We're emperor or empireless buddies.
You've got an empire, you just won't admit it. Anyway, we must move on. Ex-Doctor Who, Matt Smith, casting Patient Zero. This is from comicbook.com.
And to all the Doctor Who fans, all the girls in the world that I know, yes, you can go ahead and make the splush noise that you love to make when you hear Matt Smith.
The what noise?
Splush.
Splush.
Sploosh.
Sploosh.
Yes.
I didn't watch his a lot, so you know.
It's a sound that girls make when they see an attractive guy.
Oh right.
Yeah.
The Doctor Who disappointed me this season yet again. Before we
Aw.
get into the article, I just have to say this new series it started off really well, then it just tailed off.
That's what I heard from my friend who kept telling me to watch Doctor Who. Now he's like, yeah, no, I stopped. I don't like the new Doctor.
No, I like the Doctor. It's the story that I hate.
Well, he
Like,
don't like the new Doctor or the story, from what
no,
he told me.
really, the new Doctor's fine. And like, basically, what's happened is there was a big reveal at the end, and in true Stephen Moffat style, it's so shit and like, basically, without trying to sound too spoilery, it's basically, do you know like every year beforehand it'd be fighting the Daleks or the Cybermen? It's like that, picking an old enemy and putting them back in and pretending it's not them until like, oh, guess who it is? And I'm just like, oh,
You know you can spoil it
Moffat!
for me. You know you can spoil it for me because I'm never gonna watch it. So
Yeah, but there are other people that want to watch it, so I'm
just
not.
put spoiler alert. Oh, that's what I was gonna
Spoiler
ask you.
alert, it's the Master. On with the show, we must get cracking, we're near the end. And
Yes.
Deadline is reporting that former Doctor Who star Matt Smith has been cast in the Screen Gems Patient Zero. He will star opposite Game of Thrones' Natalie Dormer. Ah, Natalie Dormer. Anyway, in Patient Zero, a global pandemic of a rabies super strain causes the evolution of humanity into a violent new species called Infected. This is basically 28 days later. Never mind. One human survivor is somehow immune and able to speak the new language of the infected. He must lead the search for Planet Patient Zero in order to find a cure and save his infected wife and the rest of humankind. Best known for playing the 11th Doctor, Smith is making the rounds in Hollywood. In addition to Patient Zero, Smith is also in Pride of Prejudice and Zombies and Terminator Genesis. Well, Patient Zero doesn't sound particularly interesting, but it's good to see he's getting work.
Yeah, it sounds like someone said 28 days later.
He's
Who
better
act-
than Amelia Clarke. He's better than her.
I don't know who that is,
She's the one who
but it's
played is one of his companions. The one in Guardians of the Galaxy, you know, the blue woman.
oh yes, her.
Her,
Oh
yeah.
yeah, her show just got canceled too.
Really?
Her
Oh.
show Selfie on ABC, and it was getting like, despite the early bad buzz, it ended up getting critical praise when it came on, but got canceled because of low ratings.
Ah, she's crap. Go on,
But
carry
she
on.
was good in it, from what I heard.
Meh.
You just don't like it because of the Doctor. You're biased.
No, I'm not biased. I just don't think she's that good. I didn't like Catherine Tate either.
I respect her for the fact that she actually shaved her head for Guardians of the Galaxy. Most actresses wouldn't do that.
True, but it's not nothing unusual.
It's nothing unusual, but most actresses would be like, yeah, just put a bald cap on me.
Nah, I don't know. At least she did. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't give her
But
credit.
back to Patient Zero.
Go on.
That shows how much we care. It sounds like someone took 28 days later, um, I Am Legend, or The Last Man on Earth, whatever movie you want to
The
say,
Stand.
The Stand, um, what else? Resident Evil,
Resident Evil.
because he's immune to the abilities and he can talk to the dead or infected. I'm assuming talking means he's either literally can speak the language of the infected, or he's probably beating them up, whatever they're referring to.
Yeah.
And yeah, Resident Evil. The 28 days later, The
Doesn't sound
Stand.
particularly Resident Evil, apart from in
The
like
immune from the infection thing.
yeah, that's Resident Evil.
Yeah,
More,
and
what would you say, Resident Evil game or film?
the film,
All right, yeah.
like more on the lines of probably like the first quote unquote trilogy, as Paul W.S. and it's Paul
Ugh.
W. He that's what he calls them. He's like the Resident Evil movies are a series of six are going to be six films, and they're a trilogy. Extinction was the end of the first trilogy, and the new one, Afterlife, is the beginning of a new trilogy. Now, where in the world there's a story arc for either one of them to count as a trilogy, I can't tell you, but they're a trilogy.
Mila Jovovich is far too good for that. I'm sorry, she's too much of a far too. She's too good. Why is she doing these films?
Because it's her husband,
True.
and she met her husband through these films. So I'm
Hopefully,
sure these films have some sentimental value to
is
her.
she still doing like proper good stuff, not just this?
Yeah, she does independent movies every now and then. She's in a lot of them. She was on recently that another podcast, I'm not going to say the name of it, that was talking about it. They gave her a good review on. She does a lot of indie films in between this, but the Resident Evil series are her blockbuster franchise.
Oh, she needs more blockbuster stuff though. Like this was when she was in Chaplin and she played his first wife. She was good in that. I mean, it was
Yeah,
a admittedly small role, but she was young at the time.
yeah. And that shows you how much we care about
Yeah, patient
the
zero.
patient zero. Yeah.
But we do care about Matt, though. We do care about Matt. I care about Matt.
And
I
he's got a
like him.
weird nose in a he's got like a Frank. He's got the Taylor Lautner face where he's got like a weird nose and a weird forehead.
He worked for it. I thought when I first saw him, he looks a bit weird because when you used to David Tennant, he's quite handsome, and then you've got him, who's like more the unusual look. He's not grizzled or anything. He's unusual.
Speaking of doctors, I nominate Chris Mitchell as the next doctor.
Hey, it's
Let's
one
get
of.
this campaign. Let's get this campaign going here,
I've got
people.
to be a bit
Listeners.
older. I've got to be about 27 or 28.
You could be the first young doctor. Think about how revolutionary that'd be.
Nah, you've really got to be a bit older than 21.
If they came to you and said, Chris Mitchell, you are the epitome of who we think the next doctor should be, you
I'd do
wouldn't
it.
take it?
I'd be
See,
the first. I would be
exactly.
the first coloured doctor. So yeah.
Yeah, you'd be the first colored one. And you'll also be, okay, what is your full ethnicity?
Hmm?
What's your full ethnicity, ethnic background or whatever?
Mixed race. Is the on the registry it say mixed race Asian? That's
So
what it
you're
says in Britain.
Asian.
I'm
So
part
you're
white,
Asian,
part Asian. Yeah.
and it is Indian in there too.
Indian is Asian. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Because see, in the U.S. we categorize Asian as a
Yeah.
entirely different thing.
Well, we
I
just
was like,
well, like you could, unless you're not mixed race, then they'll just say Bangladeshi, blah 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 blah. You know.
I used to know someone from Bangladesh.
I probably did know someone, but I don't know. I
He
know
was a
more
cool guy.
Pakistanis than I do Bangladeshis.
He was a cool guy. He was a cool guy.
Indians, Pakistanis, and Bangladeshis are cool in general.
Yeah, moved to a part of Atlanta with a lot of black people. I feel sorry for him. A part of Georgia with a lot of black. I feel so ghetto black people. I was like, oh, you're moving there? Oh dear God, I'm never gonna see you again. Oh dear God.
We're gonna
Bye,
get you,
friend.
sucker. Anyway, we'll move on and good luck to Matt. We love you, Matt.
And good luck to my Bangladesh friend if you're listening. I hope you're still alive.
X-Men Apocalypse. Idris Elba eyed for title villain. This is on Screen Rant.
X-Men.
He could be Doctor Who, but I think he's too big now. He's too big.
I think he could.
I want Chiwetel Ejiofor because he's like even though he was in 12 Years a Slave, he's still not quite well known, if you know what I mean.
Because he has too hard of a name to pronounce, for one thing.
It's not that hard. Ejiofor. Once you get the J, it's easy.
It's like the Lakila Napa.
Richard Ayoade is pretty big, and he's got an African name.
I don't know who Richard Ayoade is.
Ayoade, huh?
I don't.
You're racist to your own people. God damn it.
I am not African, for the record.
True.
So technically, they're not my people.
True that. Well, he was in Neighborhood Watch. Is it Neighborhood Watch? You know the one where the aliens invade and they're like part of the Neighborhood Watch.
Oh, they just call that the Watch because
The Watch. That's it. Yeah.
Because of Trayvon Martin.
I got the name wrong. Yeah.
Yeah.
The Watch. Yeah. He was in that. He was the guy with the glasses and the afro.
Oh, him.
Yeah.
Oh, him. The
He's
token black guy. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, he's more mixed. He guess he's a token black guy. We wouldn't call him that over here though, but because I think he's mixed race.
Well, I mean, we call Obama black, and his mom's white, and he looks mixed.
He's actually
race,
whiter than he is black.
Yeah, Obama up until I believe 2004, he called himself, before he was running for Senate, he called himself as white, from what I heard. I'm not sure if that was true, but he listed himself in the census as a Caucasian. It's like, yeah, and to the point where
Why would you
someone
do
from
that?
because in the census you can list what race you are, and some people just go with the race they feel more comfortable with, at least from my friends who are biracial. Because sometimes on the
You should
census
just
form, they
label
just.
yourself as biracial. Why would you
But
want?
biracial, you oftentimes for some of the forms isn't an option. Sometimes it's like black, white, Asian, Indian, Pacific Islander,
right.
or other.
My uncle did say to me that in America there's no such thing as mixed race.
Yeah, because there's an old saying, like if you're, there's an old saying. It's kind of a racist saying, but it's like an old saying: if your dad's black, you're black, or if you got a drop of black in you, you black. Like if your mom or dad is half black, you're half black. Like Jessica Alba, people say, well, Jessica Alba we call mixed race, but we don't really know what she's mixed with, even though she's Mexican and white.
Yeah. Well, Mexican's different to Spanish though,
Yeah.
technically. Although I don't really think there's much difference between Latino and white, but that's just me.
Come to America. Oh,
Oh no, and I
people
know
are quick to
the
make
shit.
that distinction.
I know. I mean, it depends really. Like if you're like a mestizo, yeah, I'd say there's a difference, but
What's an mestizo?
mixed race.
See, we don't have like we just have like if you look at us like our terms like even we'll
But
have
over there, they're like the majority.
yeah they'll be coming the majority. I mean they outnumber black people from what I heard
No, I mean
recently.
in South America, they are the
Oh
majority.
yeah, oh yeah, in South America, yeah,
Like in Paraguay, I think 95%.
yeah.
That's
In the
crazy. That.
United States, they're going to become the majority soon.
Yeah, same over here. Thankfully, for me.
Yeah, thankfully for you. It's horrifying for all those racist people.
To
They're
be
gonna.
fair, who isn't mixed race in ex-colonial countries, you know? The past few weeks have seen a number of updates on the 1980s period piece, such as the possibility of a spin-off centered on Evan Peters' scene-stealing Quicksilver, the intention to hone in on the relationship between Magneto, Michael Fassbender, and Mystique, Jennifer Lawrence, and the casting shortlist for younger versions of Cyclops and Jean Grey. As for the actor playing the ancient, incredibly powerful title villain, we previously heard that the Dark Knight Rises star Tom Hardy was wanted for the role, but a new report from the Wrap's Jeff Schneider claims that the three names he's hearing of as contenders for the role of Apocalypse, Hardy isn't among them. Brought to our attention by Shadow and Act, Snyder recently called in to meet the movie press, hosted by Mark Riley, Schmoes No, and Jeff Weintraub, Collider, to discuss the recent scoop regarding the recasting of Cyclops and Jean Grey. That on the 32-minute mark drops a broad hint about one of the actors he heard is in the running. We heard him say that the word apocalypse a lot last year. Oh, it expects me to watch this podcast around 32-minute mark. But then inductive reasoning leads them to conclude that Idris Elba is the name Snyder is teasing, even though by the sound of it, he hasn't actually said it's Elba. Last year included him in a specific room with his speech, and apparently it went viral. Elba is already involved, of course, with Thor.
That speech that we're talking about is today we are
Mm,
canceling the apocalypse.
yep. And then it just goes on. He's going to be in another Luther thing, and I don't know. What do you think? It sounds like to me, without listening to that podcast, he didn't actually say it was him.
Yeah, that's what it sounds like. But I think it's fascinating that if that is true, that they would consider him, given that he has ties to the main Marvel universe, well, the MCU.
Hmm. I just remember, like, in the original X-Men, X-Men TV show in was it 80s or 90s?
I think it was like in the 80s slash 90s. I don't know.
Oh yeah, that every time Apocalypse showed up, he kicked everyone's asses and then left.
Well, I mean,
He
in the
was
comics, he kicks
unstoppable.
everybody's asses.
Yeah.
And then Onslaught comes along and kicks everyone's asses even more beyond apocalypse level.
Anyway, I don't know. As long as the actor in question has to be big and be able to play evil, I guess. I mean, Apocalypse, I know he's ancient Egyptian, but he's been mangled beyond belief that he's just not even human anymore, or
Have you
even
seen X
mutant.
Men?
Yeah, I've not seen the recent movie, but I know the stuff. It's all right.
Well, like there's a scene. Oh, damn, I can't say it. Well, never
Don't
mind.
say it. I'll watch. Don't worry. I'll buy it tomorrow, and then I'll
Stay
just.
after. You just watch on the popcorn time. Just stay
Yep.
after the credits, and watch it. But anyway,
I thought the
uh,
after a bit of an aside, but I thought the after credits one for Winter Soldier's a bit shit.
where he's just staring at himself.
Yeah, staring at himself.
That was more to just suggest the fact that there was rumors that the Winter Soldier might play a bigger role in
What's he
Captain
called
America
again?
3. The Winter Soldier. I just said it.
No, the Winter Soldier. What's his actual Marvel
Bucky
comic?
Bucky Lawson or
Yeah,
whatever.
Bucky. But what's his thing? Like Captain America and the guy with the metal arm. His actual hero name or anti-hero name, villain name.
With the Winter Soldier. I just told you.
Oh, is that it?
Yes, his name is the Winter Soldier.
All right. I thought they had another name though, apart from Bucky.
No.
All
No,
right.
his name that they call him in the film, the Winter Soldier, is his
In
name
the
he
comics,
continues
he's
to
the
have.
same.
Yes.
All right. I just thought there was another name for him.
No, in the comics, he's always referred to as the Winter Soldier.
Hail Hydra.
Yes. Though, and originally, Bucky was the little kid in the old Captain America
Oh.
cartoons and comics that you would always see. Oh, hey, Cap! That was Bucky. And then they brought him back as the Winter Soldier with this clever backstory.
Yeah, I thought it was pretty clever actually, to be fair.
And then they
Anyway,
changed his origin for Captain America, the first Avenger. But anyway, yeah.
hmm, interesting. Well, Tom Hardy, Idris, whoever, they'll make it work. See,
Who do you want to see as Apocalypse? Like, if you
ah,
had to name someone, like Chris Mitchell, World 20th Century Fox, and we want you to choose Apocalypse
well, he's
for
the
us.
only ancient Egyptian character that can be played by any ethnicity. So,
Yes.
well, he's not really Egyptian, is he? He's just a crazy thing that
Wasn't he an
kicks
alien?
ass.
I'm not sure.
I think he's both, probably. I mean, in the TV show, he was like seen as a pharaoh, and then he became super awesome, powerful. Bleh. Uh, Tom Hardy can do it. I've seen him as Heathcliff in Wuthering Heights, and he was pretty big. Like he beefed himself up, and he looked massive.
See, I don't want Tom Hardy to do it only because I want him to play something other than a villain
I'm Apocalypse.
or someone who beats somebody up.
uh, Idris would be good. I like him both. I think I'd say they're joint.
I don't
I
like Idris at all, to be honest, but
I
I get
like
it.
him. I'm trying to think. Who's make a good Apocalypse now? Someone actually, Orson Welles would have been if he was younger and still alive. Would have been a nice Apocalypse.
Who?
Orson Welles if he was still alive and
Yeah.
bit and not 70 or 80. I'm not sure if he's
uh,
tall enough though. Was he a tall guy?
well, they can always there are ways to make people look
True.
tall in a
I think he
movie.
was tall, but he didn't. He's always sitting down when I saw him.
Yeah,
Uh,
there are ways to make people look tall in
true.
movies, and they
Who
might
do you have?
CGI him so much. I don't know, cause I can't really picture. I'm so used to seeing the robotic looking apocalypse that I
Yeah.
really don't know how could you apply a human face to that. Um, oof. I mean, I don't know.
Well, he's got to be a big actor, or at least, I mean, not just big as in fame, but he's got to be big, hasn't he? Or at least make
Well,
himself big.
yeah, he has to be willing to make himself big. I don't know. I can't really think of any actors that would fit that role.
I know,
Because
I
all I
can't.
picture is just the robotic one. I feel like you can just get a voice actor to capture that and just do a CG robot, or like they're doing with or like have a guy in a suit, like I'm pretty sure they're doing with Ultron.
I think motion cap would be better.
Yeah, just do
Like,
motion
and
capture.
Circus, and Andy Circus could do it.
I mean, they did motion capture for Guardians of the Galaxy.
Hmm. A little bit, but thing is, it wasn't thingy. Uh, oh, who's? Oh, I've lost the actors' names now. You're gonna have
It
to
was
help me.
I don't know. It was James Gunn's brother who did the motion capture for Rocket Raccoon.
Yeah, not thingy's voice actor. I always forget his name.
Oh, the voice actor?
Yeah,
Bradley Cooper.
It's not. It wasn't Bradley Cooper who did it, and I know that
No, I'm talking about the on-screen one though, the physical one.
All right,
Like you can get I don't see why they need a big actor to physically be there. They could just get like a voice actor
true.
and like they did with Groot and Rocket Raccoon because I don't really because like I just don't picture Apocalypse being
Hmm.
I don't know I don't see how I could be he I hope they don't make him human because I feel like he'll be human through most of the film and then towards the end he'll be big
Yeah.
metally iconic Apocalypse like I want them to do and knowing Fox would do that.
Hmm. I am Groot.
Yes, I'm Groot. That was the easiest paycheck Vin Diesel ever got.
I was actually doing the bit when it's like, what do you mean it's better than 11%? Does it make sense? Uh,
I just love the fact that Rocket is the only one who can actually understand what he's saying, even when he's
it is a
always.
bit like Han Solo and Chewbacca, isn't it?
I guess so.
And anyway, we must move on to our second to last story, and that is, does Marvel Studios have the rights back to Namor? And that's also from comicbook.com. With Marvel Studios greenlighting movies based on Guardians of the Galaxy, The Inhumans, and other lesser known Marvel properties, there's been a lot of speculation as to whether the fans should be expecting a film based on Namor, the Submariner. One of Marvel's oldest super characters, Namor first appeared in 1939, and around the time of the Marvel bankruptcy, was one of the number of characters licensed to Hollywood for motion pictures. In the case of Namor, like the Incredible Hulk, the character ended up at Universal Pictures, where they were serious enough about the property that they went into pre-production, commissioning concept art from artist Peter Rubin, who later go on to develop the look of Krypton for Man of Steel. I'd love to be interested if that was to come back. Ruben told us last year. I have stuff on my hard drive from that film that I'd love to be able to show on my website. I'd love to be able to use in the movie. Really interesting possibilities with that. Really for me, and I think from Jonathan Mostow, who was scheduled to direct, if it had happened, the fun of it was taking the story of Namor, which is in the comics, is a little bit medieval. It's a little bit of a fairy tale kind of setting, both in the social structure and also in the way everything is designed. To take that and to find a cool science fictional grounding for it, and our intention was to do something very similar for world building as was done for Man of Steel, which is to just come up with a really great sci-fi story that would explain and put a foundation under the things that exist in the comic book that were invented in perhaps a more naive time. Oh, bloody hell, that was a bit hard to read. Oh, there's a lot of shit. I don't want to go through it. So,
Don't.
basically, the gist of it is, should Marvel make a film of him? And if the rights are back, we could see him sooner rather than later. I honestly have not heard of Namor, and I didn't know he was that old.
Yeah. I mean, I kind of knew a little bit of Namor because he's in the Marvel video game that used to have. What's it called?
Is it Ultimate
Ultimate
Alliance? Yeah.
Alliance. Yeah. But I don't know. I mean, I think it makes sense for Universal to give it back because I know Universal wants a superhero property, and they tried when they got the distribution rights to do Kick-Ass 2 to get the superhero property.
Yeah.
But Namor is one of those characters where it's like nobody really cares enough about him. Like I'm surprised they went into pre-production on him. Like that just seems like, hey, we need to do this to maintain rights type of thing,
Yeah.
more than we're actually serious about making a movie type of thing.
Plus, I think he's a bit too obscure. Like, I don't think everyone remembers him.
I mean, basically, from what it sounds like, he's the Aquaman of the Marvel
That's what I
universe.
thought when I saw a picture of him.
Yeah, that's what I thought too. So basically, what you're saying is he's Aquaman. he's got a cooler name than Aquaman.
Yeah. Anyway, we're moving on, and this is the final.
Which
Go on.
kind of goes into this. If
Go
they
on.
made a Marvel movie out of Namor, how do you think they'll do it? Because history has proven you do any movies where it films on water after a while, it's going to cost a lot of money to do.
Waterworld.
Waterworld, what's it called? Pirates of the Caribbean. Which one? At World's End. That was a $300 million production. It's actually the most expensive movie of all time.
Wow. Did they make the money back?
They made $800 million. They made the money back enough to justify a fourth one, but they didn't make as much money as two. But like, I'm just saying, like, do you really, if they do this, do you think it will be? I mean, it's Marvel, so they'll make money, but do you think it will be a good investment in the long run? Because we know it's
I couldn't answer that.
See, I would think very little. But then
Yeah,
again, we have Aquaman that's coming out, and Aquaman is probably going to take place mostly in the ocean.
And he's more popular.
He's more popular, but still, Aquaman's one of those characters where he's hilariously popular. Like he's popular because people make fun of him.
Yeah, I know. Although he's a badass in Infamous, Gods Among Us, but that's another story. Anyway.
Injustice. You said Infamous.
Oh, yeah, Injustice. Okay, never mind. I always get them confused. Anyway, let's move on because I'm beginning to get drowsy. So,
stop doing drugs, Chris. Yes,
I'm not
continue.
doing drugs anymore. How dare you? I'm
anymore.
Anyway, carry on. A new film. Hang on, and this is from our good friends IGN. Born director Paul Greengrass to adapt 1984. It's not a thought crime to remake this George Orwell classic. Terrible pun. Big Brother is back. A new film take on George Orwell's classic novel 1984 is in the works at Sony, with Paul Greengrass, the Born Supremacy Ultimatum, Captain Phillips, attached to direct. James Graham, who penned the book for the musical Finding Neverland, will script the film. Hey David.
Yes.
Listen to me. Are you listening to me?
Yes.
I'm the Big Brother now.
Chris, come here. Come here, Chris. Come here. I'm not gonna hurt you. Come here. Clack! That's what you get. That's what you get for that joke.
Oh.
Don't you ever do that again. Now, what do you feel about this film?
I'm not finished reading the article yet.
Well, finish reading.
The 1949 novel. I thought it was 1948. I'll just double check that. I need to fact check. Hang on. Because I swear Orwell died in 48. Sorry. Alright. Ah, here we are. Yes, June the 8th, 1949. Sorry, IGN. And he died 1950. Right, okay. Okay, so back to the thing. I was just fact checking because I wasn't sure. The 1949 novel is, of course, Orwell's tale of at the time it was written, future world where totalitarian government reigned supreme in what was once Great Britain. Our main character, Winston Smith, suffers through a bleak existence as the government, as personified by the image of Big Brother, watches his and his fellow citizens' every move, and then he meets the young woman Julia, and he falls in love. Sex crime. Well, that's a very simplistic description. Description of the novel anyway, but never mind. 1984 has been filmed before, most notably in 1956 and then 1984. The later film is starred John Hurt as Winston and Richard Burton as his nemesis O'Brien. At the moment, Greengrass's next film looks like it will be his return, along with Matt Damon, to the Bourne franchise. Hopefully, 1984 will follow soon after. Well, I think we need a new uh, adaptation, especially now, as it's a lot of the things that Orwell described in the novels has kind of come to pass.
Yeah,
As if,
don't you guys have a lot of cameras everywhere you guys go in the United Kingdom?
yeah, quite a lot actually.
Yeah, I've seen specials about like the United Kingdom has cameras everywhere.
I mean,
It's like
some of the cameras I understand, but some of it's just ridiculous.
yeah, some
And
of it's just so they can see you use the bathroom.
we don't have that.
Sure,
We
you
have
don't.
we have one, and that's not true. We have
Big Brother is watching, Chris.
Look, there'll be a camera out in the corridor that'll see people enter it, but there's none actually inside. But anyway, I think it's everywhere. Every Western country has loads of security cameras. It's not just us.
Yeah, we have a lot of cameras too.
Like I don't like I don't like the fact that now that drones could be used for that. That's
You know,
my
I feel like whenever you're passionate about something, your mic doesn't like you. Because
yeah.
it's fine now, but
Well, I
when you
wasn't
got
being
passionate for
passionate.
a
I was
second,
just kind of explaining. Like we don't have ones in we don't have ones in toilets. We might have ones like in the
that was
corridor.
a joke, Chris.
Oh, was that a joke? All right.
Yes.
Sorry, that'll go if it's that dry, it'll go over my head. But
I'm sorry.
it's all right. But like, yeah, like I think enough time has passed that they should make a movie. Like 30 years, why not? I mean, it was almost 30 years when the second one was made. So hey, they should do that more often. Every 30 years, make a new 1984 movie and see how far we've come.
Well, you know, in this era of taking remakes with plans of trilogies and stuff like that, like RoboCop was supposed to be a trilogy initially, but that's not going to happen.
Hmm.
Even the Total Recall remake that they made a few years ago was initially planned to be a trilogy. They're probably going to do a 1984 trilogy. I don't know
I
how they're
don't
going to
think they
do it.
will.
I
That's
think they would.
impossible. No, the
Oh,
novel, you can't. It ends. It ends. All right.
oh, they're doing Warner Brothers. We'll
Oh,
split this into
they
three
won't.
films.
They won't. They won't. They didn't do it in the 80s, and I'm not gonna do it now.
No, the 80s was a different time, my friend. The
Yeah,
80s
but
had
you can't because it's a beginning and an end, and you can't. There is no.
The Hobbit has a beginning and an end.
Yeah, but the Hobbit leads to the Lord of the Rings. It's
The Lord of the Rings has a beginning and an end.
and then the Silmarillion.
And you know what else has in the beginning and an end? The Stand has a beginning and an end.
Bear in mind, Lord of the Rings is 3 books.
Okay, but anyway, the
So
Stand
no,
has
you're
the
wrong.
Stand. Nope, the Stand
Well, that's
has a
the
beginning and
stand.
an end. But it has 4 films in development, Chris.
Yeah, but that's the stand.
For
This is
one book.
1984. Like, it's not a big book.
I'm telling you, Chris.
They're
I
not gonna
wouldn't
do
be
it.
surprised
They're not gonna
if
do
at
it.
some point.
It's
Who's the
Greengrass.
studio again?
It's Paul Green.
It doesn't matter. Who's the
It doesn't
studio?
say. Doesn't say.
Oh, shoot. If it's Sony, I'm guarantee you. If
They
it's
just
Warner Brothers,
mention.
I guarantee you.
They mention Bourne because he's doing that, and then they'll say he might be doing that afterwards. I think that'll be a smaller film. I don't think it's gonna be massive. Oh, is that
I'm look
Sony?
up
It said Sony. It said
Yep,
Sony.
see, it's Sony. You know, okay,
Nah,
you
I don't
know
think
very
so.
well.
No, it's not. It won't.
Oh,
I know
oh,
very well that they've done this, but they won't do it in 1984 because it's not there. Like, there's nothing
oh.
there.
I wouldn't be
You're
surprised if
just
they
being a
just.
drama queen.
I'm not being a drama queen.
You are.
I'm just a person that sees. I'm the cynical one of Hollywood that sees Hollywood desperate need of trilogies and
Remember the
major
South Park thing?
franchises.
You're seeing things that aren't there.
Yeah,
They're not gonna
listen.
do
I'm
it.
just saying I wouldn't rule out the
Don't worry,
possibility.
Big Brother will see to that. He'll make sure there won't be a.
But how long do you think it's going to take until we hear that either Tom Hanks and Matt Damon have been cast in this? Which I would have no problem with.
No, well, he's got to
I
make
see
Bond.
Matt Damon coming back as their friends.
I don't think Matt Damon will be in it because he'll do Bond and that be it. Tom Hanks will be in it. 'Cause Matt Damon's not ordinary enough. He's not ordinary looking enough to be Winston. John Hurt was.
Who do you think they were casting to be Winston?
Uh, I don't know
And
actually.
who's Tom
As
character?
long as it,
Tom.
sorry, go on.
Who's the other character that you named? I forgot the name.
Do you
But the
mean
other actor.
O'Brien?
Yeah,
O'Brien.
O'Brien.
Well, Richard Burton was the 1984 version, and they don't mention the 50s versions. But I
No, I
think
mean the
they,
character name.
yeah, O'Brien.
O'Brien.
Well, Tom
Uh,
Hanks should be O'Brien because O'Brien was an older character.
okay, Tom Hanks makes sense,
Uh,
and he's a good enough actor to be where I think
He
I can
should
believe him
be.
taking it.
I don't think I've ever seen him as a villain.
I don't think I've ever seen him either, which would make it more fascinating.
Yeah. Uh. Well, who else could be in it? Well,
Chris Mitchell.
I'm too young. Winston was a 30 to 40-year-old.
Oh, come on now. Jennifer Lawrence plays 30-year-olds, and
Yeah,
she's in
but
her 20s.
I have a young face. I can't do it.
You do not have a young face. I saw you with that beard. You look like an infant with a beard on. That's not
Thanks,
a young
man.
face.
That's not. Oh, you. It'll happen to you one day. Uh. Anyway, I don't know. I'm trying to think. Doesn't. Trying to think now. Who could be Winston?
Mm,
Not someone who looks normal.
oh God.
There's a few British actors around, I think.
Do you think they would have to do a newcomer then?
Not a newcomer, just someone who can look an everyday man, because that's the point of Winston. He's like an everyday
Because I
guy.
feel like if you're doing an ordinary everyday man type, it'd be easier to have someone who's a newcomer because they can fit into the ordinary.
Hmm.
You don't have any preconceived notions to that actor, so they can kind of fit in more into that role. You can be
Matt
more
Damon
believable.
make it look hot actiony. This has been Games Minds Videotape. I've been your host Chris Mitchell. This is my co-host David.
This is so stressful.
Yeah, and you can follow us on Facebook at Games Minds Videotape. We are on YouTube currently at Robert Livingston's personal channel. Yeah, I keep telling him to make us our very own because it'll be easier. We're on SoundCloud, or just type in Games Finds Videotape and we'll be there. We're also on MySpace, Instagram, and some other thing, Tumblr, but don't follow them. That's pointless. You can also,
Hey, don't say that. Don't
it's
say that.
pointless. What's the point?
Someone has to update it if you're gonna have it, though. I'm just saying.
No one's gonna update it. Trust me.
You should.
I'm not. I don't have the password.
Well, to get the password. It's your baby.
No, I'll update SoundCloud and
You stop neglecting your baby.
yeah, I will only put it on YouTube if I can make my own channel for it.
Okay, well, you stop neglecting your baby. You get on the social media stuff.
Yeah, plus I don't have all the files. Anyway,
Have Robert send it to you.
yeah. Anyway, you can follow me on Facebook. I'm called Chris Mitchell. I'm also on Twitter as CharmlessMan93.
And he is charmless. He is not lying.
How dare you? I'm the charming man now. That was in 2009.
Sure.
And
He's
David,
Notice he hasn't changed it.
David, what was our email again? Was it?
You're asking me? I don't know.
Never mind. It'll be somewhere. I'll ask. It'll be in the description. I'll ask. I'll ask around. Anyway, David, where can they find you?
Well, you can find me on Twitter at DavidTurner180. I don't tweet much, so don't get mad at me. On Instagram at Blackout180. Now, that's where you can see me a lot because I post memes and funny stuff. And you can also find me on Facebook at David Carlton Turner because my other Facebook got disabled.
Fuck you, Zuckerberg.
Fuck you, Zuckerberg, indeed.
Could that be the title?
Ooh, that was good. That'd be a good title.
And with that, see you later, guys.
See you later.